We read some article about the Good Move plan, and we could read some reaction about the citizens, like positive and negative, and we want to know about like how after the citizens' reaction.
A mixed feeling, and so it really depends. If something just new has been implemented, there will be a lot of press about it. Attention goes to that, and it depends on who you interview, because the opinions are quite different. So there are people like bicycles and so on, bikers and so on, that are really glad that this comes into place because they have more freedom, they have more space. But then everyone that has to commute to the city and that has to find other ways to do it, they're not that happy. But it's for everything. It also needs time to be put in place and to change the people's mind, because that takes time. And so it really depends on who you ask. For instance, for the Good Move plan, we have like political parties that are not in favor of it here in the city. But for instance, the mayor here, he is from that same political party, and he will say it's not all that bad. Like, you need to take the time for people to get used to it, also to adapt. Maybe there are ways of going one way or another in the city. And the good example that he gave is like there is this street, the Boulevard Rosbach, that goes from like one way of the city to the other end. And it was a street where there were a lot of cars going, and a lot of also deliveries were done through that street. And so now they've put like planned boxes and so on, so that you cannot pass in that street. But deliveries can still be done, and buses can still pass through some parts, so that you only have to bike with like deliveries for like 1 mile or something like that. And so it's still possible, but for like the people and the tourists that walk in here, it's very free and safe, because they can only deliver like from 6 to 8 in the morning, when you don't go to work yet or something like that, or you don't visit the streets. So that was also something. Now it's green. In the beginning it was just concrete, and everyone was like, this is not nice, and we cannot move here anymore, because the GPSs were also like crazy. And so the time that's like, your GPS gets used to it, that you know how to get in and out of the city, that took time. But now people are less negative about that, even if in the press sometimes you have one person that will say, I don't see enough people in my shop. But if you go in the street, all the tourists that go to the Grand Place, at some point they come here. And so all the people that work here in the neighborhood, they also go there. And the deliveries, they found ways to get delivered and to adapt their way. There will always be reluctant people, and there will always be people that indeed maybe it's not efficient for them to get the deliveries through that way, because they have always big deliveries or something like that. But usually through the numbers from like we get from the city, after some time they're happy with that. And for the Good Move plan, maybe in some streets it doesn't make sense yet, because people have to do like 3 or 4 kilometers to get to their parking spot, to their private parking spot. And so they're also like putting it into place, but taking feedback from the people to like maybe adapt some things, because now you have like these big concrete blocks, but some things are still like modulable. Like, it's not intended to be placed somewhere else, but if like everyone in that street, or if people make a good point and that they didn't like see that point before implementing the plan, they can still adapt it. So that's also something to take into account. And I think there is also this negative vibe about the Good Move plan, like you said, because people cannot buy an electric car or so on. But it's not only about electric cars or like finding something else. It's also a lot of people come here. There are tourists or so, and then they can get here easily. But there are also a lot of people that come to work here, and so they're already in traffic jam to get to Brussels, because Brussels is really in the center of Belgium. And so the issue is that there are not enough public transportations put in place, like you said, before they made the change. And that's also because like we don't have the money for that on the federal level. There are already like we have what's called the STIP. That's already like